In the beginning, there was only water. The great flood had come, wiping out all traces of land and civilization. For 40 days and nights, the rains pelted down without mercy, flooding the valleys and mountains until nothing remained above the swelling currents. Thousands years ago, along the coast of what is now Nigeria, lived the Igbo people. They were simple farmers and fishermen who built their mud and thatch huts along the edges of the streams and rivers that crisscrossed their lands. When the Great Deluge began, they retreated to their boats and canoes, hoping to ride out the storm. But the rising waters were unrelenting, and one by one their vessels sank beneath the churning waves. A handful of Igbo managed to scramble into the branches of towering Udala and Iroko trees, clutching their families and possessions as the angry waters surged below. For 3 more days and nights, they huddled there in the crook of the massive trunks. Battered by the rain and wind, one by one their numbers dwindled as people lost their grip and fell into the deep, until finally there were just two left: an elderly fisherman named Okonkwo and his young granddaughter Ejim. As the floodwaters slowly began to recede, Okonkwo knew they could survive no longer in the tree branches. Their supplies had run out, and if the rain began anew, the trees would surely fall. So, gathering the last of his courage, Okonkwo tied a rope around his granddaughter and lowered her down towards the water. Ejim splashed into the warm currents, scanning the horizon in all directions. In the 40 days of storms, the entire world had been swallowed by the sea. No land remained visible, only the top branches of distant trees poking out of the ocean. The skies above were still grey and ominous, but the rain had finally ceased. After confirming it was safe, Ejim called up to her grandfather, but as Okonkwo began to lower himself down, a terrible crack rang out. The limb supporting his weight had shattered, plunging the old man into the swelling waters below. "Grandfather!" Ejim cried in dismay. She swam to where Okonkwo struggled and pulled him back to the surface. Though he had swallowed much water, he was still conscious. Ejim propped her grandfather against some floating debris, hoping the rest would restore his strength. But the will to live is fragile for the elderly, and 2 mornings later, Okonkwo quietly slipped away. Now alone in the vast ocean, Ejim wept bitterly. She sang the songs her people sang when bidding farewell to loved ones, embarking on long journeys. Then, with heavy heart, she let Okonkwo's body drift away to its watery grave. Taking a deep breath, Ejim began kicking her feet and paddling with her hands. She would swim west, she decided, until she found land or shelter. If Chukwu Okike, the god, allowed it, she might yet survive. As Ejim swam, aquatic beasts began to take notice. Massive sea snakes, some as long as 30 men, glided past with watchful eyes. Schools of sharp-toothed piranha circled warily before darting away. Killer whales and hammerhead sharks spotted the lone girl but did not attack. Instead, they shadowed her progress, their numbers growing. Predators that would normally feast on humans kept their distance, escorting Ejim as an honor guard, for they sensed the hand of Chukwu Okike upon the girl. Here was no ordinary human trespasser in their domain. Here swam a daughter of the sea god himself. 7 days Ejim swam, resting only to let school of angel fish clean and soothe her skin. At night, she floated atop beds of seaweed, gazing at the silver moon so far away. She drank the nourishing milk of Mother Manasseh, who took pity on her, and ate only when flying fish and crabs willingly leaped or skittered into her questing hands. Soon, Ejim's skin, bleached by salt and sun, began taking on a shimmering pale scent tone, and fine scales like overlapping coins formed along her torso. Webbing grew between her fingers and toes, and gills slit open along her ribs. Hardy Igbo fishermen can stay in the water for days, but 1 month after the Great Flood, Ejim's body has transformed completely. No longer fully human, she became the world's first mermaid. Like hatchling sea turtles finding their ancestral waters, Ejim the mermaid sensed she was close now to her oceanic home. The predators had long since departed, leaving her to complete the journey alone. Then one misty morning, towering underwater cliffs appeared, draped in swaying forests of kelp and bursting with fantastic corals. There, carved into the sheer face, was an entrance to a spectacular grotto, lined with abalone shells and glittering crystals. From its depths surged clean pure waters, imbued with the unmistakable essence of Chukwu Okike. Here at last lay the realm of the sea god who had watched over Ejim and guided her steps. As she drifted into the royal grotto, schools of butterfly fish and angel fish swirled joyously around her in welcome. Ejim smiled and laughed, her clear high voice ringing like chimes through the sacred aquatic place. After days of feasting and rejoicing with Chukwu Okike in his hidden kingdom, Ejim emerged to govern and unite all the living creatures of the sea. The sharks, barracuda, giant mollusks, and jellyfish pledged their loyalty, bowing as she swam past. To build goodwill, Ejim toured the length and breadth of the ocean, helping schools of tuna find new migration routes, teaching infant dolphins to jump for joy, and showing lost baby sea turtles the way back home. Now fully grown, her long lustrous hair flowed behind like a cape of black silk. On and on Ejim swam. Year after year, decade after decade, the millennia rolled by. The tales of the kind and beautiful mermaid queens spread to every corner of the earth's waters. All the topology changed with time. Continents shifted position, and new chains of islands formed. But Chukwu Okike domain remained unchanged and immortal, and there Ejim returned every season to rest her fins and sing the story of her people. Thousands of years passed, and the myth of Mayfolk endured in the folklore of seafaring cultures across the world. From Indonesian Mermaids to Irish selkies, Greek sirens to Caribbean mermaids, sightings of these marine maidens persisted. Somewhere beneath the Atlantic Ocean, off the west coast of Africa, it's rumored a gem still dwells in her coral palace, beloved by manatees, protected by the great hammerheads, surrounded by playful pods of dolphins and whales who carry news of the upper world. There the first Igbo mermaid queen holds court, youthful and vibrant as the day she began her reign. Her laughter still rings through Chukwuokike's grand grotto, joyful and bright as shimmering bells. And on moonlight nights, it's said a gem swims up from her magnificent abyss, her glowing figure gliding effortlessly through midnight waters, regal symbol of nature's timeless balance and life-sustaining force. One moonless night, as a gem swam up from her coral palace to break the ocean surface and gaze at the stars, she sensed something troubling stirring in the waters. The currents shifted unnaturally, and the chatter of dolphins quieted. In the distance, a glow appeared, casting an airy light. As a gem swam cautiously towards the disturbance, shadowy figures came into view. They appeared to be mere people like herself, tangled and predatory, with jet black eyes, fanged teeth, and taloned fingers. The strangers swarmed around a small group of human sailors who thrashed helplessly in the dark waters beside their sinking ship. Instead of assisting the drowning men, this gang of mere sharks seemed to be attacking them as they struggled. Ejim rushed forward, crying, "Stop! Why do you harm these men? As merfolk, we should protect all who venture into our domain." The savage aquatic creatures turned, bearing wicked fangs. Their leader, a fierce merman with spikes along his back, glared at Ejim. "Foolish little queen," he hissed. "For too long have our kind hidden from mankind, allowing them to pollute our oceans. Now we rise to claim our rightful place as rulers of the sea." As the last sailor lost his battle and slipped silently under the waves, the mere sharks rejoiced with bloodthirsty shrieks. Ejim felt sorrow and fury wash over her. "I cannot allow such senseless violence in my waters," she declared. Gathering all her mystical powers, she summoned giant seahorses, swordfish, and even the fearsome kraken from the inky depths. "You may be merfolk, but you act like savage beasts without honor. Now feel the wrath of the sea itself," commanded Ejim. Her aquatic army crashed upon the mere sharks without mercy. After a pitched battle, the defeated mere sharks retreated into the ocean trenches, leaving Ejim mistress of all waters once more. Though deeply shaken, the first mermaid queen realized darkness lurks even in paradise. She swam to Chukwuokike and pleaded for guidance to maintain balance and peace in the ever-changing realms above and below the waves. And so, Ejim's reign continued, eternal and just, her dominion embracing all who entered her waters with open heart. Be them merfolk, human, or creatures of the briny deep. Within her coral queendom, Harmony endured as tides crossed ages.